day, my YouTube friends and family. This is My British Computer Guy here with a video on how to upload and create pixel art for your 8x32 or 16x16 LED matrix. Now, this was requested a while ago, and I did actually say I was going to post this a while back, so I apologise for the delay in getting this out there. It took a little bit of research, and I found a couple of different ways of doing it, and I'm going to show you two different ways of uploading it. One way is, in my opinion, better than the other, but in case you've had difficulty with one of the options, I want to show you how to go ahead and fix that so you can be successful if that's the software that you have. So let's go ahead and start off. I am going to be using Photoshop for this, so if you don't have Photoshop, I apologize. Photoshop can be now purchased fairly inexpensively on a monthly basis from Adobe. This is an older version that I've had for quite some time now that I use, which is a CS5. So I'm going to be using this. It's basically what I've been using for years. I've never had any reason to change it. All newer versions of Photoshop should actually have this functionality built into them. It may be a little bit different in getting to some of the menus, but hopefully they haven't changed it too much that it's impossible for you to find. If you do have any difficulty with this, please do write in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer. Or hopefully somebody who's reading the comments will actually see it and be able to answer the question for you. But hopefully it should be pretty straightforward. Not too difficult. It is a pretty straightforward process, and it is pretty quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you real quick how to go ahead and do that. And we are going to go ahead and create an animated GIF or GIF, depending on what you want to call it. I'm not going to go ahead and get into the semantics on that. I don't know which is the correct way of saying it, but I've always called it GIF. So first thing you want to do is make sure you've got Photoshop open and come up to File, and we are going to create a new canvas. So click on New. We're going to go ahead and call it 8x32 alien matrix, because I'm going to go ahead and create a little alien. The width we are going to want to change to the same size as your matrix. So the width for this particular one is going to be 32 by 8. Resolution, you can leave that alone. Background contents, I would go ahead and set that to transparent. Normally I think it defaults to white, so go ahead and do transparent there. Alright, so now you've got that set, and if you're using a 16x16 matrix, then obviously make sure the width and height are both set to 16. Square pixels, everything else is fine on there. Click on OK, and there you go. Alright, so we have the basics. This is our canvas that we can now see. Okay, it's tiny, so we need to zoom in. So to do that on the Mac, I don't know what it's on PC, I am using a Mac, you hold the Option button down and press forward on the scroll wheel to maximize it, and it's like 3200% bigger, and you can kind of see the individual pixels. Okay, so next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you have the correct tool selected. Now you can use the brush tool. If you do use the brush tool, then it's going to have kind of a gradient effect on your pixels when you're coloring or creating something. And honestly, I don't much care for that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the pencil tool. So to do that, come up here and hold the Option button down or the Alt button down on your Mac and click once, and that gives you the pencil tool. So one thing you might want to do is you want to make sure that your brush size is set to a pixel of 1 by 1, because if you've been using Photoshop for a while, then you're probably going to see this if you haven't really changed it. Or you may not even see anything, just the cursor, and then you try and create something and you click, it's going to go all like that. So we need to go ahead and make sure that the pixel size is set to 1 by 1. Okay, so 1 pixel. And I would also go ahead and do the same for the eraser, because obviously you're probably going to make some mistakes. Make sure that's not somewhere crazy out there like that. So you want to just make sure it's set to 1. Okay. All right, let's go back to the pencil. So we're going to go ahead and create a little alien. Let's go ahead and make him red. And we're going to give him some googly eyes, and we're going to go ahead and work with that. So just going to go ahead and create a very basic little rudimentary looking alien fella. Using a graphics tablet to make things a little easier for me. This is a Wacom Wacom Intuos Pro. I use it for a lot of retouching, which is kind of nice. Okay, so we have it. There's a rudimentary looking alien or ghost-like thing from Pac-Man. Obviously, just so you know, any of these LEDs here, any of these pixels that are transparent, anything or anything that's black. So if I was to have a black pixel, that's basically going to show up on the LED matrix as an unlit pixel. I would try and avoid using black if you can help it. Sometimes it's helpful to go ahead and have a black background so you can kind of see what you're doing. Because obviously working with white on a transparent background, as you can see here, it makes it a little bit harder to see. So what I'm doing here right now, I'm just going to leave it transparent because that's what I'm used to. If you want to go ahead and put a black layer in behind it, you can quite easily do so by coming down to the layer tool, add a new layer. Oops, 2 layers with 1 layer, and we'll go ahead and make that black. Fill it with black, and then we can just drag it to the bottom. It make it a little bit easier for you to work with. And just remember to go ahead and delete that layer when you're finished with it. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and delete it now because I don't think we need it. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and finish this off. So obviously we need to give it some eyeballs. So right now, if we were to go ahead and look at this on WLED or on our matrix, it would just have some big black eyes. We want to give some white, put a little white contrast around the eyeballs. So not too exciting. I say it's just a test. Okay. Let's go ahead and say, because it is a test, we're going to go ahead and let's put some coloured text in there as well, just to make things look a little bit more interesting. Okay. All right. So we have our test, and then we want to go. Now we could basically just go and save it like that, and that would just show a black background with little white eyes and little black pupils for our ghost with the words test written on it. Obviously not very exciting. So we want to animate it. And the way animation works on WLED, it's like stop motion animation. It takes frames. So your GIF that you're using is going to have multiple frames, and they're made up of multiple layers in Photoshop. So we need to create a new layer. So we come back down here again. I just showed you a second ago to that little tool, this little button here. Click that. And it creates a new layer. Okay, so now we have our basics down. We want to go ahead and create a copy of this. So easy way of doing it, you can basically do Control A to select everything, then Control C to copy, then Control V to paste, and that basically pastes an identical copy of the image in another layer. Okay, so now you see we've got 2 layers and they're both identical. Now we're going to turn off viewing the first layer that we worked with, and now we just have the second layer that we just copied and pasted in there. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to animate the eyes. So we want to move this transparent place to the right, and it's quite easily done. Go back to your eraser, and we want to erase that one there and that one there, and then we want to go ahead and make the the other side white. Okay, so now our eyeballs on that side that's black eyeballs, pupils on the right hand side, and then we have black eyeball pupils on the left hand side. Okay, so now that we have this all like this, it obviously looks a bit weird. You can't really see the googly eyes on here at all, but what we need to do is convert it to an animation. So to go ahead and do that, you need to go ahead and go to Window and select Animation. And it may look like this to start off with, and you want to go into a slightly different mode. So you come down here, click on the animation, see the frames, and there you go. Now you may, when you first get into this, what you're probably going to have to do is go ahead and convert the layers to frames. So click on here and make frames from layers. Click that, and now you'll see both of our images there. Okay. And you can kind of see how it's applying up here to our preview. Okay. Now what we need to do is, if you see how down here it says 10 seconds and 0 seconds, that's the length of each frame in our animation. Obviously 10 seconds and 0 seconds isn't going to work. We want them to be even. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 0.2 of a second, and this one to 0.2 of a second. Okay. So now we basically have each frame will show for 0.2 of a second. Okay. Now we need to go ahead and optimize this and save this as an animated GIF. Now, normally you would think to just go up here and hit File, Save As, and then save it as a GIF, but we don't want to do that. Okay, that won't make an animated GIF. That will just save a static image. So what you need to do is go ahead and go to File, Save for Web and Devices. Okay, and now you can kind of see here we have our little. I think you just zoom in because it's tiny. Okay, it's set as a GIF. All these features here you don't really need to mess with. I would just go ahead and copy these. If it looks anything different from mine, go ahead and make sure it looks the same. Image size 32 by 8, which is fine. We don't need to go ahead and change that. Looping options. So right now it's set to loop just once. Okay, we don't want that though because that would look a bit boring on our matrix. So we want it to loop forever. And you can preview this by just going ahead and clicking that and clicking preview. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay, so stop that. Now all you need to do is save it. So we just go ahead and click save. 8x32 alien matrix, and there we go. It's now saved. So if I come to my desktop and go to my LED matrix folder, alien matrix, there we are, and hit sample, zoom in. You can kind of see it there. It's kind of difficult because it's so small, but that's just previewing it. And now we need to go ahead and do is just put that on our LED matrix. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, welcome to the second part of the video. So now we've got our GIF, or our 8x32 alien matrix GIF that we created a minute ago. What we need to do is go ahead and upload that via software into our LED matrix. Now the way to do that is you need some software to go ahead and do it, and the one I've got here is Pixel Magic Tool. There is another one that's out there by, let's see if I can find it here real quick. I guess this one here. Yeah, Pixel Art Converter, and it's okay, but it's not brilliant. Okay, honest opinion, and this isn't a paid opinion, it's the Pixel Magic Tool is actually a lot better. Works pretty well. It does have a few glitches and a few bugs, and that may be due to the some of my images that I'm trying to upload. But this is just for examples purposes, and I think this will do the job. I'm going to go ahead and leave links down to both of these sites in the description below, but we are going to be focusing, as I say, on the Pixel Magic Tool, and we're going to be doing this on Windows. I know I designed the image on my Mac, but that's where I have my Photoshop software. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first thing you want to do is head over to the website for GitHub, and get the code. It's actually a zip file, and you just basically come to where it says code here, click it, and then download the zip file. I'm going to save link as and save it to my WLED folder that's on my desktop. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and extract that, which is fine. Okay, so it created a folder, Pixel Magic Tool main. Let's open that up. And you want to go to the pxmagic.htm website. Okay, and there we have it. We can go ahead and get rid of that now. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. All right, so a couple of things you're going to need. Well, first thing you're going to need the IP address of your LED matrix, and that can be found if as long as you've downloaded the WLED app. It's basically, I'm going to show you here in the app. If you look at the main section where all your lights are, all your things, it's actually below the item there. Let me take a screenshot and I'll put that on the screen for you. Right there. Okay, so in this case 192.168.50.98. So we just plug that in. Okay, and we're going to save this as a preset. So we're not just going to upload it directly to the display, which is what the other system does, the Pixel Art Converter. That typically just goes ahead and flashes it temporarily to your LED matrix and shows the display until you turn the power off, and then when you turn the power on again, it's kind of reset. With this, what we're going to do, we're actually going to give it a preset, so we can actually go ahead and save it to the actual chip, and when you power it off and power it on again, you can always go back and access the the animated GIF that you put in there. So we're going to call this one alien. Okay. Range we can leave alone, output we can leave alone, segment we can leave alone. Now, one thing I did notice with this, the brightness, whatever you set it at, you're not going to be able to change it once you've uploaded it. So I recommend just going ahead and putting it at max brightness. But just as I say, you can't change it. I don't think you can change it once you've already got it up there. It's an animation. We'll check that. It does have transparent images in it, and we don't necessarily need to resize it because we already know it's 32 pixels by 8. But I found there are some issues with the software, so I'm going to leave resize image as it is, and with the width as 32 and the height as 8. 4 frames. There's actually 2 frames in this, and you need to make sure that's correct. Otherwise, it may not display correctly. Duration, and that's basically the duration that you want each frame to show on your LED matrix. I'm going to go for half a second, which seems fine, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the transition because that's like a fade effect between the 2 transitions. Now, one thing I did notice, and I have tried this with other GIFs, GIFs with multiple frames, up to about 23 frames it can handle. However, the larger the GIF, the more frames in the GIF, for some reason it doesn't handle the colors correctly sometimes. When it gets towards the end frame, I've had transparencies not reading correctly, and I'm guessing that's just a bug in the software. But for animated GIFs of 2 to 4 frames, it seems to work just fine. So now it says here, choose a color that will replace the transparent pixels in the range. I'm actually just going to go ahead and make those all black or off. So 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to select the image. So our image was where was it at? 8x32 alien matrix GIF. Bring that down here and drop it. Then hit generate. And that'll generate a preview of what the image is going to look like. Okay, so all we need to do now is go ahead and hit the save button, and that should put it on the display on the matrix. And just so you know, there are different formats you can choose, different outputs. Curl also works, or CURL. And if you have any difficulty with the settings, maybe try changing the setting and it might work. But there's the code. You can actually copy the code, and basically what you've got here, Alien 1 is going to be set to preset 1, and Alien 2 is going to be set to preset 2. So those are your 2 frames, and these are the colors. So 000, that represents the black, I believe. FF0000, I think that's the red. Okay, and so on and so forth. And it's basically a hexadecimal code for the colors. So you could technically go ahead and copy this into Notepad, go ahead and manually create a GIF if you needed to, but it's been kind of hit and miss with that. I've tried fiddling with that and it doesn't seem to work that well. So I'll just stick to what the code is in here, and you can't actually change this code. This code is set. So what we're going to do here now is go ahead and hit save. It'll take a second to process. And it will actually tell you down here to the lower right hand corner, okay, Alien 2 is set to a preset. Now what it's going to do is going to set 2 presets, and then it's going to do like a playlist. So there'll be a preset 1 and a preset 2, and there'll be a playlist as well. So we're going to go ahead and look. So okay, so it's working now. It's up there. If we now go ahead and go to the web tool for WLED, and once again you can access this through your browser. Just go ahead and type in the IP address up here, and if you go to presets, right, so I want to come back out of this for a second, refresh it. Okay, so now here you see the over on the right hand side, we have Alien 1, Alien 2, and we have Alien. So this one up here is actually a playlist, and these 2 are presets. I'm going to go ahead and change it to solid for a second. Okay, which is a preset. I put it as like a default preset that they have in there, and we can go ahead and take a look at these. So I can go ahead and you can actually edit some of the colors in here, but for some reason, if you try and copy and paste, take the whole string out, alter it, and try and paste it back in, you may get a syntax error, and that I haven't figured out why that does that yet, but hopefully you shouldn't need to do that. The other thing is I don't know how to create playlists of multiple animated GIFs. If anyone has an idea on how to do that without getting too technical, please do post in the description, or sorry, please post in the comments down below and let me know. I'll attempt to do that in one of my next videos. But if you click on each of these individually, it'll actually show you the individual frames. And if you want to run the playlist, there you go. Just click on there. Now you can actually make some modifications to the playlist, and one thing I tried when I started going ahead and doing the larger animated GIFs, I did one that was like 23 frames or 24 frames long, and I basically did 5 or 6 frames of the alien. I did another 5 or 6 frames of a YouTube symbol, a YouTube logo, and another 5 or 6 frames of, I can't remember what it was, something else. And you can actually do that. So if you wanted to have a longer GIF other than just 2 frames, you can do that. It's just basically you're going to fill up your presets real quick. And I've had up to like 23 or 24 without a problem. Any more than that, and first of all, it's slow because it takes time to process when you're uploading it, and it is prone to crashing. So if you kind of keep your animated GIFs kind of small, then you should be good to go. But I'll show you here real quick. This is the playlist. So the first item in the playlist is Alien 1 frame, and the second is Alien 2 frame. Duration of the frame is half a second on each, no transition, and told it to repeat indefinitely. Now shuffle, I'm not too sure what that does. I'm assuming that just shuffles the frames, so you don't actually have any there's no sequence to it. But we can turn off. Let's go ahead and change the duration on this one to 2 seconds. Save it, and there we go. So as you can see, it lasts for 2 seconds now before it changes over on that second frame. So you can fiddle around with it. So if you've got a bunch of static images that you wanted to stack in there, you could go ahead and do that, and you can basically edit the duration as to however long you wish. But now that's actually in there, and you can come back to that at any point, and you can change between all your different things, all your different presets, and then if you want to just come back and just click on it, there you go. Easy as that. As I say, this is a pretty straightforward, pretty easy tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. It took me a while to go ahead and figure it all out, but yeah, it's not rocket science to go ahead and do this. The hardest part was actually figuring out the tool. So I did have a little bit of difficulty with the Pixel Magic tool. I did get a couple of syntax errors, and I got some red error messages where it couldn't connect down below a couple of times. But perseverance, and it worked just fine. But don't forget, once I say that brightness, whatever you have it set at is going to transfer to WLED, and you cannot change that by adjusting the slider for that particular image in WLED. It won't let you. It just goes back to the way it was. But if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon for notifications of future videos. Hopefully I'll have some more good stuff out later. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You all have a great day. Take care now. Cheers. Bye bye.